everyone. I am Robin Jones, and I have the pleasure of talking to you today about immune and respiratory health. And being a mother of 7 kids, I kind of know what I'm talking about on how to use these oils because I have a lot of little guinea pigs at my fingertips at any given time. But the thing that I want to share with you is really day-to-day life, how I use these, how I'm incorporating them, and how it's totally amazing and doable and can be done. Anyone can do this. So I want to start with immunity. With immunity, there's basically 3 main factors that I have found contribute to a healthy immune system or an unhealthy immune system. The first is limiting exposure to environmental threats and toxins that are surrounding the house or at school or at church or at nursery or wherever they are. And a lot of that, so I can't really control what's at school and outside of my home, but I can control what's in my home. And so one of the very first things that I realized was how toxic cleaners are and how toxic candles are that you burn in your home. And so I love the On Guard line. And for those that aren't familiar, On Guard is a protective blend. It's a total immunity booster. So our family, we have a routine every single day. We're using a lot of the On Guard products. And we start the day by putting this right on their feet. And sometimes if it's a really crazy hectic day, I love using just the throat drops. So if they didn't get, if I wasn't able to put it on their feet before they head to school, they pop one of these throat drops in as they're heading out to the bus, and then they're sucking on that as they're riding the bus to school. So anything that can just boost that immune system as they're heading out into the world. The toothpaste is another great way to incorporate getting that immune boosting. And of course, diffusing. So especially during the winter months, we are putting On Guard in the diffuser constantly because during those winter months is when threats are at their highest, and we want to be prepared for that. So we have them in the kitchen, we've got them in every bedroom of the home so that we're covering our bases. It's covering every aspect. So as I mentioned with toxins in the home, the more that we can limit the amount, the better, especially with babies because they have such a weakened immune system and they also have more of a propensity to layer on toxins and it assaults their immune system. So we want to be able to have things like this that are all natural, that have the On Guard in there. So I know I'm getting my clothes clean. It has a very fresh fragrance, but it's also chemical free. So in our bathrooms, we love having the On Guard foaming hand wash. It's moisturizing, it doesn't dry out their skin, and best of all, it's putting that great layer right on their hands, boosting them up for when they do touch something that may be contaminated, they've got something to help that way. And of course for little babies, and I recommend for any oil that you're using, if you're using these on infants, if you're using these on toddlers, that you utilize doTERRA's Touch oils, which are the pre-diluted essential oils. So this On Guard roller bottle has already been pre-diluted. I don't have to worry about adding any coconut oil to it, and I can just put this right on my baby's feet, right on the bottom of her feet, or even along the spine. So I would say of all the oils in our home for immunity, On Guard would be the top dog, and in all of its forms. So we can support our immunities by environmental threats, but then there are ways that we're ingesting toxins, that we're bringing them into our bodies from the foods that we're eating, from the plastics that we're drinking our waters from. So just to combat that a little bit, I like to use lemon. And I love using lemon for me personally as a mom. I have my water bottle and I'm drinking that throughout the day, putting lemon in my water. But I also love giving it to my kids. It's kind of that one pat on the back knowing like, okay, I can release some of those toxins out of those sweet little bodies. So every time at mealtime, I just put a drop in each of their water, and I know that they're getting that, and they're able to flush some of those toxins that maybe they got from the own dinner that I made them, and know that that they can utilize it in that way. Another thing that I love to do is the wild orange. So sometimes if we need to just spice it up a little bit, I make ice cubes out of wild orange. So I'll just put them in a couple drops in the ice cube tray and it freezes, and then they put that in their water, and it's a little fun thing, and it's flavorful. So any of the citrus oils are able to do that. They're able to go into the body. They assist that liver in helping eliminate a lot of those toxins out. So, and the last thing that I love to diffuse for those environmental threats is Citrus Bliss. And I have Citrus Bliss going most of the time. If it's not on guard, it's usually Citrus Bliss. It's kind of just a universally loved aroma. It's got all your citrus oils, a little hint of vanilla, super yummy. My kids love it. It's what they wake up to in the morning. And I know that just by diffusing it in my home, again, we've eliminated a lot of the toxins that are just floating around. So going into the second concern that addresses a healthy immunity is creating a healthy gut and creating a really good environment in the gut, because we know that by having a healthy gut, we're going to have a healthy immune system. The two are totally related. So I know, especially if my little ones are acting out behaviorally, it's the same thing. It's always usually tied to that gut, what they're eating and how well they're functioning there. So PB Assist is probably the PB Assist Junior. They just came out with this at convention, and I literally did a happy joy dance because I was waiting for this. I was waiting for something that my kids could take probiotic-wise to help that bacteria, that healthy flora grow in the gut. So they call it Pixie Sticks, and I haven't told them otherwise. If they think it's candy, awesome. So they take this every single morning. It's part of our morning routine. We put on that On Guard, that diffuser's going, and the next thing that we do is take their probiotic right after they've had breakfast. So we take that probiotic and then immediately going right into their vitamins. So the chewables, again, this is something that they love, that they ask me for, that I have to educate them that they can only have 2 a day. And then the IQ Mega, which, especially if they're going off to school, this is just great for brain function. And so these three together are just powerful. And it gives me great peace of mind as a mom, just knowing I've sent them off and out to school totally prepared, totally just like restored and like packed up in the gut, ready for whatever is assaulting it. And then if there is something that's happening, say it's sluggish, things aren't quite going the way that they should in that gut, then I love Digestin. And I love Digestin for a lot of reasons. First of all, it kind of has a black licorice scent, which I'm a fan of black licorice, and that's just that fennel smell. But it's also a great oil, it also comes in the roller bottle. So even for my babies that are fussy or gassy, I can put the roller bottle right over their tummy, on the bottom of their feet, and watch and see and witness the relief that happens pretty quickly. So Digestin is something that my kids keep with them in their little sample packs. These keychains are great because it just allows my kids to take this with them to school. Every one of my kids has this on their backpacks. And they're kind of known as like the class distributor of oils. When a little kid has a tummy issue, they go to my kids. My kids are known as the people that hook them up. So I love that. I love that I've empowered my kids to self-care, that they know the tools that they can go to receive that support, to receive that relief. And so Digestin is definitely one of the little bottles that are in here, along with that On Guard, and keeps them prepared. The third main concern, or the third area that we need to focus on in regards to creating a healthy immunity, is we need our kids to sleep. We need to have them have a restful sleep. And we also need to have tools that we can allow them to have, be able to manage their stress and manage those emotions. Restful sleep is probably one of the most important things to immunity health for kids. And that's because that's the time that they are restoring, that's the time everything is connecting back where it needs to be, and they wake up hopefully ready for a new day. If they're not getting restful sleep, then you can imagine the amount of stress and the amount of cortisol levels that can accumulate from that not happening. So a couple of things that I love to use are vetiver and cedarwood and lavender. And so we have one kiddo that has always kind of had problems falling asleep. He fights it. He just fights it tooth and nail. And so I created a roller bottle, and I put some coconut oil, I put a few drops of lavender, a few drops of cedarwood, and a few drops of vetiver. And it was like the magical trio. And then, lo and behold, doTERRA announced that Serenity, the reformulated blend, now did have lavender in there, among other calming and restful oils, but they added the cedarwood and the vetiver, and that just sealed the deal for me. So from now on, we really just use the Serenity. And the Serenity complex is amazing because it has, like I said, so many of those calming, restful oils, but this is something that I can put in their bath. I just grab a couple handfuls of some Epsom salts, put a couple drops of that Serenity, shake it up, disperse it in their bath water right before bed. So immediately they're starting to recognize that aroma with its bedtime. If we're unable to do bath time, because sometimes we have nights like that, then we just put it on the bottom of their feet, along the spine, and just waft it over their noses as they're falling asleep. And if you can, put it in a diffuser so that it's going throughout the night. So if you do have kiddos that wake up in the middle of the night, they're able to go restfully back to sleep and peacefully back to sleep with that aroma. So another oil that I love to use to help the kids kind of get into that flow of nighttime routine and where things are calming down is, again, using the diffuser. I call using the diffuser setting the emotional temperature in your home, because it can really hype things up. You can really energize your home using certain oils, and you can also calm it down using certain oils. So any of these oils like vetiver and Serenity and lavender are great to put in that diffuser to start that. So before we're starting story time, before we're starting a bath, before we're putting on pajamas, I start putting that in the diffuser so the kids kind of know and are, again, getting ready. They know what's coming. And one of the oils that I love using is Balance. This is a great grounding blend. It has a lot of tree oils that just kind of bring them down. Sometimes right before bed, they're hyped up. They're up here. They've got lots of energy that they need to just spin off. And by simply putting that in the diffuser or putting Balance on their feet, it just brings them down, brings them to a level of just feeling a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more ready to go to bed. So I love Balance, but the oil that is in Balance, frankincense, I love even more. Frankincense to me is kind of just your master mood oil. It almost enhances a lot of the other oils that I've used emotionally and for times for them to rest. So frankincense along the spine is just a powerful application and method that enables them to really go to that deep relaxation, go to that deep level of sleep. And then coupled with that Serenity on the bottom of the feet, powerful combination. Balance has that frankincense in it, so it is in itself a great oil, but sometimes frankincense stands alone on its own and is a very powerful oil that way. And the thing that I love is, again, just creating that atmosphere of self-care. My kids are learning by example from us, and by us demonstrating, they're able to see that they can reach for something natural, and it works and it's helpful for them. And the aromas that they're creating create memories. We know that amygdala is directly linked to aroma. So when we smell that, they're creating those memories. They're remembering those times mom and dad were putting oils on them. And there's something so sweet about putting these oils and that touch, putting them on your kids. This in itself is so relaxing and so soothing. Who doesn't want a little tickle, a little back rub right before bed? And to couple that with the essential oils is just divine. So we've talked about a healthy immunity. Let's now dive into how we can create a healthy respiratory system. So again, I want to bring up the fact that toxins in our home can greatly add to that discomfort that we experience with respiratory. So we want to limit the amount of toxins in our home. Those candles, those chemicals that we clean our homes with, they can all add to that. And so we want to eliminate as much as we can. We can't eliminate everything, but if we can limit it, then that's a step in the right direction. So sometimes we have those environmental threats that live within our walls. And so an oil that I love to diffuse, especially if it's in a certain area of the home, is Purify. And this is a cleansing blend. And sometimes I like to put it in those stinky rags or stinky towels that kind of have sat there on the laundry room floor. And so I'll just add a couple drops onto the towel, a damp towel or a damp washcloth, and throw it in with the laundry. And it really helps to eliminate those odors. But also diffusing in those certain areas also helps to eliminate some of that threat that resides there. Another thing that is a great oil for any type of respiratory discomfort is Breathe. Now, this bad boy is one that we stock up on, especially during the winter months where it's prevalent. So the essential oil itself we put in the diffuser, and this is definitely something that we have next to the bed. We want our children to be able to breathe that in, and as they're breathing it in, it's just clearing those airways so that they're able to take those deep, deep breaths that we want them to take, that sometimes they're not able to do because they've got a lot of stuff blocking that. So being able to take those deep breaths with that diffuser going right there next to them is one of the best methods that you can use. Another great thing that doTERRA has done, which has made it a lot easier for us moms, is created this vapor stick. And this allows you to be able to, so I used to have to use coconut oil, which is still a great method, but you would always, especially when you're putting these over large areas on your kids, you always want to dilute with coconut oil. And so I would put coconut oil and then just a couple drops and put it all over their chest, all over their back, just kind of covered those lung areas and on the bottom of the feet. But now you're able to use this vapor stick, and I just put it right on there. Just rub it right over their chest, right over their back, and on the bottoms of their feet. And this has just been a great way that I can keep this in my purse. I don't have to be tedious with the coconut oil. Great grab and go application method. And one of my very favorite essential oil combinations that I like to put in the diffuser, especially to kind of break up a lot of the stuff that's going on, keeping them from being able to take those deep breaths. I have kind of my power trio of frankincense, Douglas fir, and wild orange. And these three together I like to put into the diffuser at night. Sometimes breathe with some of my children because it does have peppermint. They're not able to quite get to sleep as quickly as I'd like them to, especially because it's been put on them as well. So putting the frankincense and that Douglas fir is a great respiratory oil, and it's, especially during these winter months, it's very Christmassy smelling, so I don't mind having it just waft through my whole home. And then of course that powerhouse frankincense with it just creates this really earthy, fruity, yummy, Christmassy aroma. I really love this trio for respiratory. And so make sure if you are thinking about helping your kids or helping your house battle some of that respiratory discomfort, you must have a diffuser. It's really one of the main reasons that got me seeing the benefits of that Breathe oil, was using it in the diffuser. If you are out on the go, let's say you're in the car, which many of us moms are as we're toting kids to and fro to different activities, and there is some discomfort and they're not able to quite take some deep breaths, I do what's called the human diffuser, and you just put a couple drops of whatever oil you have on hand. Hopefully it's one of these. You can use Breathe, or cardamom is another one, or Douglas fir, or any of those oils that help create that easy air breathing. You just want to put a couple drops in your hand, rub them together, and then you can either put it over the kids' mouth and nose and just have them take some deep breaths that way, or you can, like I have, show them how to do it, because I want to empower them. I want them to know that they can do this wherever they are without me if they need to. So usually they're in the back seat, and then I just hear them just taking big old deep whiffs of that oil, and it's a great way. All right, so I'm going to leave you now with just a few last minute tips that will really hopefully help you to be able to have the confidence and just take that leap into really using this in your home and on your kids and on your babies. So what helped me was educating myself a little bit on the efficacy and the safety of the oils. Of course, experiencing them is the best way to learn. But having something like this video, for example, to go to is a great way to educate yourself. And I know that there's tons of great content on doTERRA University where you can go and you can learn a lot. And there's also the Daily Drop app where it has kid tracks, which have great tips, great information that you can totally have the confidence to go forth and do this. My mantra is always to try the oils first. Try them first. If they don't work, there's other options, but at least try them first and see if they work. And I think you'll be surprised at how great they work. And so you want to keep them accessible, safe and high, so your little toddlers aren't getting them, but accessible. Have them out in plain view so that you remember to take them. Our vitamins are on a shelf right next to our cups and glasses so that we remember every day to take that. Our On Guard is out on the counter next to the diffuser, so remember to put it in. So just creating a routine and a lifestyle in which you can incorporate this will make it a lot easier to do.